Welcome back. I finally managed to fix something with Twitch. Fucking A. Alright. Dreadnought Ch.3. Let's begin. Hold that for me, Blaha. Okay, thank you. Let me reorient myself so I can actually speak better. It's full dark now, and I'm still hidden here behind the tree near our driveway. How the hell do you explain something like this? Well, you see, Father, I was out buying nail polish to wear in secret because I've been half the colors of the rainbow for years now when the greatest hero of our age fell out of the sky, gave me his powers, and died. Somehow this turned me into a girl. Anyhow, I'm off to buy some bras and panties. Ta-ta! Come, Mother, show me the wonders of the tampon aisle. But maybe that's getting ahead of myself. Here's the real problem. Are they even gonna recognize me? My phone buzzes. A text from Mom. Danny, we talked about this. Where are you? Come home immediately. Your father is upset. I send a text to my best friend, David. I screwed up and missed my curfew. My parents are pissed. His reply comes almost instantly. Shit. You still out? Yeah. Okay, it'll be alright, but you need to go home. It'll get worse the longer you're out. I'm scared. I type. It'll be okay. Text me later if you need to. He's right, of course. David's always there for me. But this time, I feel like it'll be different. What with the girl thing and all. How can I explain that in text message? I bite my lip, bounce on my toes. Eventually, I give up trying to type out a coherent reply and walk slowly up to our front door. My keys shake in my hand as I turn the lock. I slip the door closed behind me and try to set my feet down quietly. It's an old house with wooden floors, and the fireplace doesn't work anymore. If I can just make it to the steep, narrow staircase, maybe I can sneak past them and get up to my room before they notice I'm back. And then, and then, master of the cunning plan, am I? Mistress of the cunning plan. I start giggling halfway through the room, and that does it. Cover blown. My mom comes around the corner. My mom's a smallish woman with deep, worry lines. She's wiping her hands on her apron, and there's a tightness around her eyes I've learned to take as a warning. Danny, who are you? Hi? Mom's face goes to stone. I'm sorry, but you need to leave. Danny shouldn't have. Mom, wait. She looks like someone slapped her. I keep going before she can stop me. I'm Danny. Mom opens her mouth, blinks, closes her mouth. It was hard to get a clear look at my reflections in the window when I passed on the way home, but I saw enough to know I still resemble my old self. Same short blonde hair, same basic face, but softened by the puberty I should have had, not the one I got. What? Something happens. I, I Roger? Roger, get in here, says Mom, not looking away from me. She's twisting her apron in her hands. Her fingers have gone white. Well, this is going swimmingly. My father enters. He's got a receding hairline and a voice made for shouting, which is real convenient because he shouts a lot. Who the hell are you? He snaps. Get out. Hi, Dad. What the? I do not have a daughter. Um, you do now. I'm Danny. My posture folds inward. My arms cross my stomach, and I can't look him in the eye. I hate how I always wilt like this, but it's easier this way. Sometimes even this isn't enough. Sometimes it pisses him off that I'm a coward, but it's not like there's an alternative. Danny put you up to this? You tell him he's grounded until I am Danny, Dad. I put as much defiance as I dare in my tone, which I admit isn't much. I'm not looking him in the eye, because I never do that when he's angry. It's not safe. Something happened today. Didn't you hear the news? I don't know what kind of joke you think you're playing, young lady, Dad says, his voice rising, but you are trespassing and you need to leave now. Dad, I live here. I'm Danny. My voice is faltering. I'm collapsing in on myself. He'll start yelling now, and then there will be nothing to do but wait him out. Of course it's going this way. I can't imagine why I thought it would go any other way. Nope, I've had enough of this bullshit. His voice seems to shake the room. You get out, and you tell my delinquent son. Roger, says Mom. Her voice is shaking a little, but she steps to my side, and I love her more now than I ever have before. This is Danny. Look. My father's eyes get wide. His face goes the color of spoiled milk. What did you do? He asks, quietly enough to scare me. I didn't do anything. It just happened. Dreadnought was fighting someone, and there was this flash of light, and then I was this. My cheeks are burning. It's not really a lie, right? Brace up and get ready for it. For once, Mount Screamer doesn't detonate. Danny? Oh hell, what happened to you? I don't know. There was a superhero fight, and I was nearby, and then this. Don't you worry. He draws himself up, as tall and proud as he can, like he's about to be magnanimous. We're gonna make this right. I love you. You're my son. I take half a step back. Well, not anymore. We'll go to the doctors. We'll get this looked at. Dad doesn't sound like he's all here anymore. He's not really looking at me. He's looking past me, towards some kind of pathetic optimism where he doesn't have to deal with who I really am. Hell, we'll talk to the Legion if we have to. If it was done, it can be undone. I don't think that's how it works, Dad. I'm a girl now. Maybe, I lick my lips. Maybe we should just accept that. He seems to come back to the here and now with a jolt. He sets his jaw. Don't say that. We're getting through this, okay? I will find a way to fix this. You have my word. Sure. Thanks. He then sweeps me into one of those rough, manly hugs he's so big on. A healthy masculinity, he calls it, over and over again. And I am suddenly filled with content. It takes an effort of will not to peel him off me, and I shiver with disgust. I don't care what he says. I don't care what he wants. I don't care what he thinks. I am a girl. I am free. And I am never, ever going back. My door locks behind me with a comforting click, and I let out my breath. That was Frustrating and scary as hell, but it's over. Dad spent 20 minutes thinking out loud, brainstorming, he said, about all the ways he's going to try to take this away from me. I'm sorry, I mean, all the ways he wants to help me. Jackass. There'll be a lot of doctors and a lot of tests and so on. Good luck, buddy. You're gonna need it. I slide the butter knife out of my sweatshirt sleeve and sit on my narrow bed. I slipped it up here to test a theory. With just a few fingers at either end, I try to bend the metal. It resists me, and for a moment disappointment wells up in my chest. But then I get a sense of something. Like if I pushed it in just this way, then with a quiet whine of tortured metal, the knife bends in half, easily as folding as a piece of paper. Holy shit! I feel cold and shaky. The knife slips out of my fingers. I'd hoped, I'd really sincerely hoped, but I didn't. Holy shit! Go ahead, Dad. Hit me like you mean it. What do you think you can do? Force me to take testosterone shots? I pick the knife back up and tie it in a knot. Nobody is going to force me to do anything ever again. The giggles come back. I hug myself. I struggle not to laugh too loudly. I can't jump because of the low, slanted roof of my top floor room, so I hop for joy and forget how to come down. Now I do laugh out loud, and screw it if he hears me. I hang up here in the air, flailing, trying to get down. I feel like I'm stuck here, like there's this net behind the world that I've become tangled in. I could almost grab onto it if only I knew how. I close my eyes and feel around with my arms. I flop over midair and end up floating upside down. Someone's coming. Danny, Mom says from the other side of the door. Are you okay? Uh, fine. My hair is brushing the floorboards, and I've got a slight spin that is slowly rotating me. Danny, I want you to know that you can always talk to me about anything, okay? Which is not even close to true, but she can't know how wrong she is. Okay, Mom, I just want some time alone, okay? Okay, I love you, sweetie. Love you too. Now, to figure out how to get down. I wake up and immediately look down to make sure my body is still the proper shape. Oh, thank God. I slip a t-shirt over my head and fight on a pair of jeans. My hips are wide enough to give my old pants problems. The legs are too long and I roll them a few inches up. As I'm getting dressed, my eyes fall on a poster of Valkyra that's hanging on my wall. She's another member of the Legion Pacifica, the regional superhero team. Maybe I'll get to meet her. At the thought of it, a deep flush rises in my cheeks. Maybe that would be a bad idea. I'd probably fangirl all over her. She wouldn't be impressed. When I come downstairs, Dad looks at me with disappointment, like he was hoping it was all a dream. I fix myself breakfast and sit down. Mom, can you take me shopping today? I ask over my bowl of cereal. Mom glances at Dad. Maybe. What do you need to go shopping for? Asks Dad. Fear tickles the underside of my heart. This is delicate. I put my words carefully. None of my clothes fit. Danny, we're gonna fix this pretty quick. You don't need to be spending a lot of money on clothes that you'd only have to give away. Can I get new shoes, at least? These are like boats. I'm going to be tripping all the time. I've got to figure out something that will get Mom and me out of the house with the intention of spending money. Once I get her away from him, she'll be a lot more reasonable. I mean, just wear until we fix me. They don't have to be expensive. Dad sighs and nods. Sure, Danny, says Mom. A fizzing light of joy goes off in my chest, but I keep most of it off of my face. Mom takes me to the discount store downtown, one of those places with a neon orange carpet and the salespeople who are a little too friendly to feel safe around. The door gives an electric chime as we enter the shop, which summons them like sharks to bloody water. Hi there, is there anything I can help you with today? Says a man in a neon tangerine polo shirt. He's got a huge friendly smile that goes only as far as his eyelids. Where's the girl's sneakers? Asks Mom. Aisle 3, do you need help looking for anything? That's okay, I say quickly. The trick with these guys is to not make eye contact. Like restless ghosts, they want to drag you down to hell with them. We slip down aisle 3, and Mom measures my foot with one of those metal ruler things with the slide. She then measures my foot again when we realize she accidentally used the men's scale. There's a whole wall of generic gray sneakers to choose from. I notice the colors for these are much calmer than I'm used to seeing in sneakers. Pastels and grays and so on. Boys' shoes want to look like they're made out of knockoff Hypertex. Boys' shoes are friggin' ugly. While Mom is searching for a pair of shoes in my size on the scale, I slip around the aisle and head down the other side. Something caught my eye on the way in. These are the more distinctly feminine shoes. I find a pair in my size and clutch them to my chest, blushing. Flats. Glossy black with straps. Super cute. I've always wanted some. Mom is pretty smart. If I show these to her, she might start putting things together. I don't know if that's good or bad. Screw it. I really want these shoes. Danny, I want you to try these on, she says when I come around the corner again. My voice is quiet when I say, I want these. They're on sale. Oh, those are nice, says Mom. And then an instant later, I see her realize what Dad would think of them. A moment after that, she looks at me, puzzling. I'm sitting on the knife edge of hope, waiting for what she'll say next. But, oh, yes, you can have those. My smile is huge, as wide as it goes. I hug her, and she hugs me back, and I love her so, so much. Thanks, Mom. After a long moment, we break apart, and I decide to press my luck. Now how about some underwear? There are cops all over the backside of the mall when we get there. It feels a little creepy being back here. Everyone's walking around like they just lost a relative. As ecstatic as I am about what's happened, someone had to die for it to be possible. I don't like thinking about that because it reminds me that I'm a horrible person. It's disconcerting to realize Dad is right about how selfish I am. We have to go around two sides of the city block that the parking garage is on to get in. I can't believe Dreadnought is dead, says Mom. You were near that? It was really scary, I say. She grabs my hand and squeezes it tight. What were you doing back there? She says as she looks up the car. I want to tell her everything. And I mean everything. from the powers to how I wanted to be a girl this whole time. But no, it doesn't feel safe. I was exploring. It's an amazingly lame excuse, but Mom doesn't push. The mall downtown is built over several city blocks, with extensive skyways between the main buildings. We cross the road, the glass and steel tunnel on the third floor, and come out near where we need to be. The lingerie shop in the mall is packed front to back with floor-to-ceiling photos of impossibly beautiful women posing dramatically in their underwear. And I mean literally impossible. These women have all been airbrushed and retouched until they are something that basically does not exist in nature. Even actual models don't really look that way. It's a full-time job for them to do the kind of dieting and exercise needed to be a top-tier model. And then on top of that, they have staff to help them. Dermatologists, dietitians, personal trainers, makeup specialists, talented photographers, even digital artists all work together to make it possible. Our health teacher made sure to show us a really long documentary on the subject about how every little human imperfection, from pimples to scars to pockets of fat, is digitally erased by artists before those photos are shown to the public. With an almost guilty jolt, I realized I look a lot like those pictures. Maybe not so developed, but pretty close. There's a weird moment of dissonance as I process that. A clerk walks up to us. They must pay better here. She doesn't have that desperation that fills you with pity and fear. Her eyes are red and a little puffy like she's been crying. A lot of people's eyes have been looking like that today. Everyone loved Dreadnought. Can I help you too? My daughter needs a bra, says Mom. Another little burst of joy flips through my hearing, her saying that. Her daughter. The clerk takes my measurements, looping a tape measure around my chest, and then higher around my breasts. You should have been in here a while ago, she says. There were complications. She raises her eyebrows, but only says, oh, of course. I'll get you a few different styles to try out in the changing rooms. The changing room happens to feature the first full-length mirror I've had access to since I changed. I snuck into the bathroom to stare at my face for a solid hour last night, but finally seeing all of myself, seeing the shape of my body, gives me goosebumps. For more than a few moments, I only stand and stare. I'm a girl. Finally. I'm just so happy. I can't believe it. I keep expecting to wake up, to see the end of this delirious, wonderful dream, but I am awake, and I'm free. I pick the 3 bras I like the best, and Mom makes me put the push-up bra back. When I come back to her, she's got a distant look in her eyes. She's looking in my direction, but I'm not sure if she sees me. Mom, are you okay? She smiles. I was just remembering when my mother took me to buy my first bra. I didn't think I'd ever be doing the same thing. I like that we're doing this, I say. It's the closest I can come to saying we were meant to be doing this. Mom smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. She looks away. We get up to the register and the clerk rings us up. The price is shockingly high. Holy crap, we can't afford that. I've got a little money put away, Mom says quietly. I don't have to be told that this isn't something to repeat. We can splurge on this. Thank you, I say softly. We pick up some panties from the cheaper department store at the other end of the mall and head home. I wear the sneakers into the house and carry the flats, the bras, and the panties in the shoe store bag, which is less likely to catch Dad's eye and be a problem. I claim I have a lot of homework and lock myself in my room again. I put on my shiny black shoes and practice hovering in midair. It's easy now. I can spin on all three axes and stop precisely in whatever orientation I choose. Tomorrow is Monday. I can't wait. School is going to be amazing. I hope you're all having a good night out there, gamers. Emphasis on the gay. I'm feeling up to it, so I'm gonna go and make chapter 3. Oh, my bad. Chapter 4. I can't count. There's a reason that I didn't major in mathematics. Or graduate kindergarten. Where do you think you're going? Asks Dad, just as I'm about out the door. School? A girl can hope, anyhow. I don't think so, says Dad. You're sick, and you're not going to school until you're well again. I feel fine, I mumble. You have a doctor's appointment at 11. You can send a text to David and ask him to email your assignments. No phone calls. He doesn't need to hear what happened to your voice. Slowly, I shut the door and trudge back up to my room. The doctors peek in the door again. Dad took me to my family doctor, Dr. Cho, and when he finally gave in and admitted it wasn't very likely I had a twin sister we'd been keeping secret this whole time just to fool him, he immediately retreated and called for reinforcements. Since then, every doctor in the office has been going in to look at me. Blood pressure, heartbeat, height, weight, urine sample, stool sample, saliva sample. They tried to get a blood sample, but the needle wouldn't punch through my skin at first. For a scary moment, I thought they were going to figure it out, but then I imagined that lattice again. Imagined the net loosening, letting something through. The needle went into my arm with a pinch, and they got their blood sample. I was poked, prodded, weighed 3 more times. Finally, they leave me sitting on an exam bed, dressed in nothing but a paper gown. The walls are papered and medical information posters. I learned the early warning signs of heart disease and how to examine a pair of testicles for cancer. We'll never need to do that. There's a list of 1-800 hotlines and a diagram of what to do when someone has a seizure. The place reeks of antiseptic and non-latex gloves. I should have brought my sketchbook. Every once in a while, someone will poke their head in, stare at me for a few seconds, and then poke back out, like they're curious gophers. Can you tell Dr. Cho I'd like to speak with him? I ask. Sure, says one. She keeps staring at me for a long moment. Soon? Right. She backs away. I can hear heated conversations on the other side. A century later, Dr. Cho returns. He's got 3 other doctors with him. So, have you figured it out? I ask. Not yet, but, well, you tried, I say, hopping off the examination table. Don't blame yourself, I'm sure anyone would be stumped. You can just go tell Dad it's hopeless. I start pulling my socks on. I don't think it is, says Dr. Cho. What? I look up sharply. We need to get you to an endocrinologist. I think that, given the circumstances, we can skip the psychological counseling necessary before treatment for gender identity disorder. What? There are these rules, called the Harry Benjamin Standards of Care, that mandate at least 3 months of counseling to clear you for hormone replacement therapy, but since you were male up until 2 days ago, we might be able to start you on testosterone starts right away. I need to get an opinion from a specialist, though. He doesn't even know the Harry Benjamin standards have been out of date for years now. Hell, they're not even called that anymore. Part of me wants to laugh, and another part wants to cry, and the third part wants to scream. They butt up against each other and form a kind of tripod of misery, a stable equilibrium of horror and despair. Now they want to treat me. Now they want to change my gender. Now it's all hands on deck to consider the pressing possibility that something might be wrong with my body. I'm surprised by how level my voice is when I say, "Oh, okay." Dad is tapping his fingers on the wheel during the long drive home, jiggling his knee, fiddling with the radio. Finally, at a red light, he says, "We can start testosterone right away, probably. If this endocrinologist he's been sending to won't do it, we'll just find another. But don't worry, we're not going to leave it at that. We're going to figure out a way to get you back to your, you know." "My dick." "Don't be flippant with me, son," he says, staring straight ahead. He doesn't normally call me son. "I know this is a hard time, but you've got to keep a cool head." Maybe it's not coming back. For values of maybe, that approach absolutely. That brief moment of panic in Dr. Cho's office is behind me now. I need to remember that nobody can force me to do anything. Not anymore. Not ever again. Don't say that. It'll be fine. We'll get you back to the way you need to be. But surgery is pretty expensive, Dad. "We have insurance, don't worry about that," says Dad. And I almost pity him. I'm really pretty sure our insurance doesn't cover reverse boob jobs and penis grafts. And even if those were covered, these hips ain't going anywhere. I've done research at the library, in moments of curiosity or despair, transitioning from male to female, mostly, but I got curious and looked to see how the reverse works. Short version, it's just as difficult, but in different ways. Even if I started on testosterone shots tonight, they wouldn't make my shoulders wider, or my hips narrower. They might make me a smidgen taller if the caps at the end of my bones haven't fused yet. I'm 15, which in this body means I'm even further through puberty than I was as a boy, but I probably still have a few inches I could grow. Puberty leaves a mark human science hasn't figured out how to erase yet. Not that it's a real high priority or anything. Unless the transformation I was subjected to when I took the mantle could somehow be reversed by the same process that caused it, my body is going to have undeniable evidence of femininity until the day I die, no matter what we do. And that's if I allow the needles to pierce my skin, which, fat chance. I'm careful not to smile. He'll get used to it. He'll have to. Manovsky Particle has signed on. Combat Wombat. Are you okay? Was everything cool with your dad? Manovsky Particle. Yeah, he was upset, but it wasn't too bad. Combat Wombat. Cool. Did you cut class today? Manovsky Particle. No, just sick, I guess. Combat Wombat. Yes. Manovsky Particle. Yeah, I got a weird thing with my skin. Spent all day at the hospital. Combat Wombat. Is it contagious? Manovsky Particle. Oh, horrifyingly so. Half the West Coast will be dead within hours. Combat Wombat. Lol, gag. Manovsky Particle. Dad is flipping out about it. Had me at the doctor's all day. I feel fine, though. Combat Wombat. Sucks. You gonna be out tomorrow? Manovsky Particle. Probably. What did we have for homework today? Combat Wombat. Chap 6 in history, Chap 4 in maths, odds, and finish reading Mockingbird. Don't know what you had in French again. Manovsky Particle. Thanks. Combat Wombat. But seriously, you're okay? Things are cool. Manovsky Particle. Oh, yes, they're not angry anymore, and I think I'll be better soon. Can't wait to come back to school. Smiley emoticon. Combat Wombat. You're a fucking weirdo. Lol. Minovsky Particle. Bored. Wanna hang out? Combat Wombat. Wanna play a couple rounds after dinner? I hesitate before replying. I'd love to play some games, but he can't hear my voice. Yes, I want to tell David. I've been thinking about how he and everyone else at school will react off and on all day. But I want people to find out on my terms. Combat Wombat. You there? Minovsky Particle. Yeah, sure, we can play. My mic is busted, though. Can't talk. Combat Wombat. Better than nothing. A week later, Dreadnought's funeral is on TV. We all gather in the living room. Mom and Dad on the couch, me sitting off to the side on a cushion the way I like to. It's good to sit down here because I'm close enough that I feel like we're all together like a family. But I'm out of easy line of sight. It's safer that way. The Legion Pacifica is decked out in mourning colors as they carry the casket from the hearse to the grave. The president gives a speech and then introduces one of Dreadnought's teammates, an enormous man named Magma, who gives the eulogy. As he speaks, the guilt comes back, stronger than ever. Dreadnought is dead, and I just watched him die. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe if I were smarter or better or had done something different, he'd have survived. But no, I took his powers and went home with a big grin on my face. I am a selfish, horrible person. I'm a horrible person and I feel guilty as hell. But I can't pretend the days since it happened haven't been the happiest of my life. Every day I wake up and get excited again about what I see in the mirror. Every day I quietly read aloud just to hear the sound of my new voice. When I see myself, I see myself. My body is everything I have ever wished for. Everything I told myself I'd never have. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't deserve it. But I have it now. And there's no going back. As they lay him in the ground, I silently promise Dreadnought that someday, somehow, I will find a way to honor his memory. To earn what he did for me. I can see the structure behind reality. Okay, not see precisely, but it's there. An infinite lattice of matter and energy, of thought and form. It spreads across the universe. It is the universe. I imagine it like a fine mesh net, searing bright with coiled potential, and all the things in life little more than tangles in that light. The lattice gets twisted up to the shape of water and trees and people and music. As I imagine grasping it with my mind, my feet leave the ground. Flying takes concentration, but I think I'm getting better at it. With my legs crossed and textbook in my lap, I hover above my bed and read my homework assignments. It's difficult. When I start getting into the assignments, I tend to wobble and sink. When I'm steady in the air, I'll find that I've gotten to the end of a page and can't remember a single thing I've read. But I'm getting better. For a few paragraphs at a time, I can read, understand, and stay up in the air, too. I'm better than I was last night. Tomorrow, I'll be better still. When I've got enough patience to concentrate and fly at the same time, I'll tap, tap, tap on the window. I drop from the air, feeling guilty. A man in silver and green power armor is hovering just outside my window, beckoning me to come outside. Or, maybe the Legion Pacifica will come pay me a visit before I'm ready. That could happen, too. The Legion is the Cape outfit for Newport City and parts beyond. Their territory is everything west of the Rockies, north of California and Nevada, and south of Canada. They're the most prestigious team on the West Coast, possibly the country. With Dreadnought as their anchor, they haven't faced a serious home turf fight in 10 years. Spend most of their time assisting the eternally jumbled and fractured Californian capes, or working with the continent-wide Northern Union team to handle the really big stuff, like the asteroid that almost hit us last year. With Dreadnought's death, that might have to change. I slide across my bed and open the window. The armored figure is floating on whining jets that vent from his back and feet. Of course I recognize him. He's Carapace. My stomach flops over. "We need to talk," says Carapace, in a filtered, almost mechanical voice. "Oh," I say. Sure, let me get my sweater and I'll come out." Carapace nods and leans back. His jets flare, and he squirts up and away from my house. Holy crap, the Legion wants to talk to me. Yeah, it makes sense, but holy crap, the Legion wants to talk to me. My fingers are clumsy as I pull open my dresser and pull out a sweatshirt. I put it on, take it off, and put it on right side out. I decide to float to the window so he won't see my knees shaking. The night air is cold and damp against my skin, and I wobble a little in the air as I leave my house behind. This is the first time I've flown in open air. I was hoping to do this in private. Carapace is hovering 20 or 30 yards away, or maybe 24 yards above the ground. It's an overcast night, but the clouds are thin enough that the moon's light punches through and reflects off the silver highlights of the plate-armored woman floating next to him. It's Valkyra, and the moment I recognize her, my cheeks start burning. Did you see the poster I have of her on my wall? Did she? The bushes in our cramped backyard tickle my feet, and I realize my concentration has drifted, and I'm sinking. The lattice is clear in my mind when I reach for it, and I shoot back up into the air, arrest my momentum, and approach them under controlled flight. Hi, I say to two of the most important people in the world. Wow, I am a dork. "Hello, I am Carapace. This is Valkyra," says Carapace, as if they would need to introduce themselves anywhere in North America. "And you are Daniel Tozer." Nobody outside the Legion has seen his face. His helmet gives him a metal glare that's hard to face straight on. "Daniel," I mutter. "But your legal name is Daniel Tozer," he says. Like this is a very important thing to be clear about, and he's a little confused. "You were present when Dreadnought was murdered." "What Carapace means to say," says Valkyra in a low, husky voice, "is we know that receiving the mantle can be an abrupt and difficult transition. Up close, I can see the pale blue nimbus that surrounds her wings. It's well known. It's well known to her fans, at least. She doesn't fly by flapping them, by some kind of magic contained within them. Her blonde hair spills out from her helmet and down her shoulders. It is no easy thing for a mortal to come into such power and retain herself, nor for a child to do the same." Carapace looks at her for a long moment before turning back to me. "Yes, a minor coming into powers within our jurisdiction. We are prepared to offer you guidance and support," he says. "This is contingent upon good behavior, of course." There's something in his tone that's hard to read through the mechanical filtering, but it sort of sounds like he thinks good behavior will be a problem for me. "You want me to join the—" "No," he says. "We do not accept minors into the Legion at this time." "You would be a provisional member," says Valkyra, as if he hadn't spoken. "You would be welcome in our halls and at our tables, but would assign you no duties, nor grant you a stipend." She looks at Carapace, and raises her eyebrow. And that is a fair description of the program you designed for young champions, is it not? Yes, says Carapace. He continues, sounding like he's reading a script he'd rather not. We encourage all metahumans to take advantage of the opportunities we provide. Um, I wasn't. My body didn't always look this way. Do you think you can figure out why the mantle changed me? I want to know. Not so that I can turn back, but just so I'll know. There's so much about my body that I don't understand. Very likely, says Volkaida. I'd like that a lot, but please. Can you manage to fly across the city? Asks Volkaida. There are things we'd like to discuss with you, and one of our associates will need to examine you. I think so. Then lead on, child. We fly to Legion Tower. I dart back down into my room and lock my door and turn out the lights. With any luck, my parents will think I turned in early. A few minutes later, I'm 10 stories high, zipping across the city towards the glittering night skyline. I've been up here before in tall buildings and airplanes, but nothing really prepares you for being 100 feet in the air, with nothing between you and the ground but a long scream. The barrel rolls come naturally, and soon I'm laughing. Things are getting better all the time. And I think I'm going to end it there for tonight. If you came into the stream, thanks for joining me. If you are watching the video, thanks for joining me in the future. All y'all have a good night, and keep up the gay work.